Hello and welcome to the Baking Mad Kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make perfect cupcakes every time. And I always use a basic Victoria sponge mixture, which for 12 cupcakes I use 150 grams of butter, which is at room temperature, and 150 grams of caster sugar. Now I'm using lovely Billington's golden caster sugar just because it's got a lovely flavour, slightly more toffee flavour, but just a hint, which is really nice in cupcakes. And then you've got to beat your sugar and butter until it's smooth and creamy. Now this is really important, and the key to a good cupcake is to have your butter at room temperature and your eggs. Because it's jolly hard work otherwise, but also it's really important that you get a light, creamy consistency. Now, this is going to take me some time, so I'm actually going to use a hand mixer, which is an absolute godsend, makes it a lot quicker. Now you can see how that's come together, and it's quite hard work by hand, but it doesn't take very long. And the lighter and fluffier you get it at this stage, the better the cakes will be. Fluffy. Now you need 3 eggs. And an egg, a medium-sized egg, weighs about 50 grams. So actually what you're doing is multiples of 50 grams when you're making a sponge cake mixture. So for 150 grams of butter, sugar and flour, that's 3 eggs. And again, if you have them at room temperature, I just find it much easier to incorporate them. Sometimes the mixture curdles when you add your egg, but don't worry about that. I mean, what you really want is a nice light emulsification when you're making cakes. But if it curdles, you just add a little bit of flour. But you add it a little bit at a time. I don't know if you can see, but that's ever so slightly curdled. And really, the slower you can do this, the better, because you really want the mixture emulsified, almost like you're making mayonnaise. And that's when you get a really light sponge. Now I'm going to add a teaspoonful of vanilla essence, and I love this really thick, concentrated vanilla essence. It gives such a lovely flavour to cupcakes. And to me, it's really crucial. And I say I've got 150 grams of self-raising flour, but just to help it along a little bit, I also add half a teaspoonful of baking powder to give you a really nice rise. And personally, I never bother sifting flour these days. So all that goes in. Now if you want to, you can flavour your cupcakes with grated lemon rind, grated orange rind. If you want to make chocolate cupcakes, all you do is substitute 1 ounce of the flour, or 25 grams of the flour, for 25 grams of cocoa powder. So there we are. Now I always use a spatula just to get that last bit of flour in, and just to give it a couple of turns to get a little bit more air in there. And also because I like to get the mixture in the centre of the bowl, because it makes it much easier to measure the quantity of mixture into your cupcakes. Now there's my little cupcake cases, and it depends. I'm using the same mixture whether you want to make cupcakes or whether you want to make fairy cakes. Cupcakes, you need a deep tin and deep cupcake cases, but fairy cakes, sort of British fairy cakes, are much smaller. The tin's much shallower. Can you see how the difference in size between the cupcake cases? So that's your fairy cakes, and this mixture would make 18 fairy cakes, or you can use 100 grams of butter, sugar, flour and 2 eggs, but I'm doing cupcakes. So there's our cupcake mixture. And the trick to getting the same size is I always get the mixture in the middle of the bowl, and I use a dessert spoon and just scrape a nice rounded dessert spoonful of mixture into the centre of each one. So don't ask me how I know this, it's just years of experience of making cupcakes, and that to me is about the perfect quantity to give you nice even cupcakes. And if you've got a little bit of mixture at the end, then you can sort of divide it between the two. That looks about even to me. So I say I'm going to bake them at about 160 or 150 fan, that's 180 centigrade, gas 4. So I'll pop those in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes until they're nice and golden. There we go. They're now ready for me to decorate.